as you already know, Davante Adams is going to be traded to the Jets to be reunited with his one true love, Aaron Rodgers. And oh, this just in, Amari Cooper was just traded to the Bills. Since I'm always the last to know, rather than report the news like everybody else, I'll react to other people's comments and reactions, and then talk about what this means for the 2-4 Jetty and the 4-2 Bills. All right, so first, we're going to take a look at Ian Rappaport's, or aka Rap Sheet's post, blah, 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 to be back with his good friend Aaron Rodgers. Man, look how happy he looks in this picture. That is the face of a champion right there, knowing that he's going from the crappy Raiders to the less crappy Jets. Oh yeah, dude! Michael Hoff, dude. This guy said it so well, man. Davante Adams going from the dysfunctional Raiders to the dysfunctional Jets. Hilarious. Except Adams is a great wide receiver. Yep, exactly. Jets back in the race. They win the game last night if Adams just played the last drive and nothing else. I don't know about that. I mean, like I said, offensive line is a problem, and, you know, Adams, as great as he is, he can only do so well as Rodgers can do. So Rodgers, it still has some issues with aim. So that's like a big issue that you can't just fix right away just by throwing in a receiver that's an all-star. Can he kick field goals? Apparently that's what the Jets need. Oh my gosh, Brenda says it so well. That's so funny. I mean, seriously, when you look at like why the Jets lost yesterday, it was because like obviously the Williams interception, but also their kicker could not score to save his life. And don't forget about the offensive line. See, I love that we keep talking about the real issues. Just because you have Davante Adams doesn't mean all your problems go away. I saw some other funny stuff too. Oh yeah. 2-4 to 2-4. Dysfunctional to dysfunctional. We got the 2-4 Raiders, which bottom of the AFC West, and then you got the 2-4 Jets, second from the bottom from the AFC East. It took one Mike Williams drop. Mike Williams drop, that shit was massively underthrown. He had an easy check down to Hall, who could have gained an easy 20 plus yards on the play. This is the definition of an underthrown ball. Are the Jets the Packers' retirement home now? Oh, I love that. That is funny, bro. Sadiq, that's pretty clever right there. Oh my gosh. So that's what he was thinking. He's like, how do we influence Davante Adams to come here? Oh, well, I got to make sure that it's not me making the decision. It's the Jets making the decision. But really, we all know Aaron Rodgers is pulling the strings in the background. Kind of like our country. Going from one dumpster fire to another. This is why I love comments, because people are so real. They're so funny, too. Damn, still not going to be in the playoffs. Every day, both teams are just as bad. Ah, yes, East Bay Chris. This is the one I was looking for right here. This is where he says, this is exactly the missing piece the Jets needed to finish the season 7-10. What happens when Rodgers underthrows him too? Now, that's what I want to know, because again, this isn't just the issues, you know, with the O-line. You know, it's an issue with Rodgers, you know, underthrowing balls. Let's see what the other YouTube videos have to say about this.
It was always anticipated that Davante Adams would likely wind up with the New York Jets. That's where...
Boring. Next. I did this just so I could prove a point that this guy is boring as hell. So let's go to somebody with a lot more energy and a lot more knowledge. So right here, Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp, they really know what they're talking about.
4 interceptions over the last 2 games. Yep. Ties a career high for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to sit up here and let him off the hook.
No chance.
The passes have been underthrown. We get all of that.
Underthrown.
Interceptions, pick 6 against the Vikings. Pick yesterday. 7 of the points that you got last night was on the Hail Mary. We ain't counting that. We understand this, okay? But the fact of the matter is they win that game if your damn field goal kicker makes his 2 field goals. This is all you do. I don't care about the weather conditions.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but like Stephen A. is like glitching out real hard, and like the mouth isn't matching up with the words, because it's just, I don't know what it was. I'm pretty sure ESPN is be using that Dunkin' Donuts great value Wi-Fi, so it just didn't sync up correctly. Kind of like my live stream yesterday. So anyways, just wanted to point that out because I'm sure you noticed that.
This is the bottom line in all seriousness. I've always said he is a bad man. You know how I felt about this 4-time league MVP and stuff like that. He has been anything but this year. Right. There is no excuse for it. But here's the indictment on him. It's not just this play. It's that off season that Shannon keeps bringing up, where you had a mandatory training camp and you wasn't there. You understand what I'm saying? It's the time that you missed. It's the tone that you set. Your fixation on the meticulous details and ironing that stuff out that we've seen and revered about the great ones, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's of the world, and others, we haven't seen from Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
Well said, exactly. And that's what it's really about, is that Aaron Rodgers isn't putting in the work. He's blaming everybody else except for the one person that he looks in the mirror. Sure, there are going to be mistakes that the receivers have made that contribute to the interceptions, but you got to look in the mirror, Rodgers, and say, why am I getting so many interceptions? Is it really just bouncing off the receiver's hands, or them running the wrong route? Or am I just going blind? All right, and now let's look into what Shannon Sharp says real quick. Thank you very much, Stephen A. Appreciate your thoughts.
Unless they block better, unless they protect Aaron Rodgers better, he do a better job of protecting the football. You're talking about a quarterback.
Exactly, man. The O-line is a huge problem, man. Like, granted, Rodgers has his own issues and stuff with underthrowing, but then you look at the O-line and they can't protect him to save his life. They block for a few seconds and then they just let the defenders right in. So you gotta fix that O-line as well, Jets. Otherwise, no matter how many wide receivers you add to your team, it's not gonna make one difference if Rodgers keeps getting sacked and keeps getting rushed.
So what we're seeing is not something that we're accustomed to seeing, is a guy that protects the football all of a sudden giving it away. 3 against Minnesota, he had 1 costly one last night. He threw the ball up his back foot. It fluttered up there in the air and it got picked off. That was a hell of a play by Taron Johnson. Let's give him some play, because that ball could have easily hit the ground, but he did a great job of getting his hands up under it and coming down with the interception. But unless they do a better job of protecting Aaron, unless he does a better job of protecting the football, they're not going anywhere.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon Sharp. Appreciate it. So yeah, again, I just wanted to like show these points just to show you guys like, hey, there are some people that actually know what they're talking about. And then I love this part where it's like Aaron Rodgers pointed out some of these areas, particularly with his receiving core in a somber post-game news conference. Man, dude, like this is the opposite of Josh Allen. Josh Allen, even if like it was the receiver's fault, he'll take ownership. He'll be like, yeah, man, you know, I overthrew him, underthrew him. But here's Rodgers. Like Rodgers led the call-outs, noting that on his final throw that was intercepted, his accuracy was not the issue. One thing is clear, is that Rodgers placed all the blame on Williams. And granted, it was Williams' fault. I mean, he slipped and fell, and then Taron Johnson swooped in and stole his manhood. But you know, it happens sometimes. Rodgers felt this reflected the reason they've lost 3 straight games by 1 score. You know, not because he threw so many interceptions or not because he's been sacked a million times, but, you know, because of his receivers. That's why he's not doing well enough. So now let's real quick talk about the Amari Cooper trade. Amari Cooper traded the Bills in huge midseason deal with Browns. Dude, I love it, dude. Amari Cooper had enough sense to be like, dude, get me the hell out of here. Deshaun Watson will never get me the ball. The guy absolutely sucks. I'd rather play for Josh Allen. And that's what I like to see, because you take this star wide receiver and you give him what the Bills desperately need, which is a wide receiver besides Shakir who can catch the ball more than 50% of the time, right? Yes, here we go. Oh, I love this. With the trade, Cooper will get a chance to play on a far more competitive team. I also like how this is like a really funny like play on words, literally, where it's like play on a far more competitive team, where literally like it's just saying the Browns suck ass and he needs to play for a team that's actually going to go to the playoffs this season. Great idea, scriptwriter. I like what you're thinking. I'm telling you, man, now that we got Shakir, we got Coleman, we got Johnson, and who else? Kincaid. And now with Cooper, man, like we actually got a really strong receiving core. So I'm really, really happy. He instantly brings credibility to an otherwise so-so group of Bills wideouts. I mean, they're not wrong, dude. Oh yeah, we gotta react to Twitter. Let's see here. Josh Allen right now, yes. Infinity Stones. Dude, that is actually really funny, man. Both teams watched last night and said enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more news updates.